5:31. We'll call the meeting to order. If you would, join us for invocation and flag salute.
Let's pray. Lord, we come to you, thank you for this opportunity to come together and improve our community. Please bless our citizens of the city of Leadership and give this committee guidance and understanding all things. Please join me in the flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Newsom,
Here.
Commissioner Kerr,
Here.
Commissioner Horner,
Here.
Vice Chair Knight,
Here.
Chairman Jackson.
Here. First order of business, 1 consent items. 1A is consideration and possible approval of November 5th minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Newsom,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes. 1B, consideration possible approval of 2025 meeting schedule. Y'all had a chance to look at that.
I don't have any conflicts or comments.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Commissioner Newsom,
Yes.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes. 3, moving to the public hearings portion. 3A is consideration and possible approval for a replat and rezone request for property located at 301 North 4th Avenue. And this is something that we have heard before, so I don't know that we need to go through the presentation again. We've talked about that for some time. This is the presentation of the county. Is there anyone who wanted to speak for or against? Is there any discussion? Is there a motion?
Well, I think the primary concern from the last meeting was whether or not Dr. Newsom believed he had a conflict or not on this.
We also have Clint here who can either make a motion or second a motion to get it through, so it's up to you.
Yeah, I think I probably need to abstain on this one as well.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Newsom,
Abstain.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Commissioner Kerr,
Abstain.
Vice Chair Knight,
Abstain.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes. Motion passes. For the record, thank you to you and the other commissioners for, 1, being patient with us, and 2, for being good partners with us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Sorry for being late, but thank you.
Say it again.
Sorry for being late, but thank you.
Right on time.
Yeah.
3B, consideration and possible approval for conditional use permit for property located at 1408 South 9th Avenue. How's Paul today?
Recovering from Thanksgiving still.
I hear you. Glad to have you.
Yes, this is a application for a conditional use permit to expand an existing storage unit on South 9th. Originally applied for a rezone. It was recommended to go to a conditional use permit to avoid the rezone. They're looking to expand it, I believe, to the south and to the east. The only thing that I would recommend on this is if the CUP is granted and we're going to expand, I'd like to see a full sealed parking or drive on all all the pathways through there. So I don't know, I haven't, do you know if they're sealed right now, or is that just gravel in there?
It's just gravel. What Luis would propose to do is.
If you don't mind, please come to the mic and state your name for us.
Sure can.
Thanks, appreciate it. We're recording. We've got some folks watching online. They can't hear you unless you're at the mic, so I
understand.
appreciate you coming
Thank
up.
Thank you for being patient, and apologize for not having any representation the last time y'all met. There was some miscommunication on our part. So this is Luis Narvaez. He and his family bought that property with the intent on and expanding it and improving the property and keeping it in its original use as a storage facility, and just upgrading it and modernizing it. Part of the intent too was the grades coming off of 9th Street or the old highway there are pretty steep, redoing those to where they're more manageable, and then like Paul said, is putting some sort of chip seal or something down on the gravel if that's required. But that's kind of the scope of work, adding storage units, and it's just beautifying and improving the property.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Kent Helms, my name. Thank you. Yep.
Thank you. Is there any questions for staff?
Paul, I would just say I agree with your recommendation about sealing the drives. And I think one thing to note too, I mean, not to note to you, but to note for everyone listening, is that this isn't a building permit.
Correct.
This is just a conditional use permit saying, hey, you can do that. So they would still have to come to you for a building permit and follow all the requirements that the city would require.
Correct.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against? Any discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Newsom,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes. So motion passes. It will go to City Council next Tuesday, so a week from today at 6 o'clock. Three C, consideration and possible approval for replat and rezone for property located at South 22nd Avenue and West Mississippi Street.
Yes,
Mr.
this
Cottrell.
was a proposal from Mr. Young Kim. He's sitting here behind me. He presented the idea to do a subdivision. I can't say that my count on the houses was accurate. The way it was divided up, my eyesight's not as good as it used to be. But also single-family, residential with possible future plans of apartment complexes to the north there on that Bloom Way. If you can bring up the map of that. There was, ONG has a gas pipeline. That's what that dark space is running down Waterview Street. They had he submitted this to them before submitting it to us, and they have approved that. That's why the median's gonna be 50 feet there to stay off that right of way, and they're okay with what he has presented to them, so.
So Paul, did we discuss separate zoning? So it looks like they're wanting to do residential and then potentially apartments. Is that separate zoning?
He's requested all R3, a bunch of these lots. They're mixed sizes, but the majority of the ones down toward the south are only 6,000 square foot, which would require R2 or R3. Since the property did abut R3, I recommended just going R3 for the single family. Future land use does show as R1 though.
Any other questions for staff? Sorry.
Yeah, I do have a question. So we haven't looked at this particular area in terms of a big subdivision, things like that, but are there any concerns as to water or sewer support or anything like that for this area?
No, all water and sewer has both been confirmed by M&O department and our streets department. There is a 10-inch main up there to the north at 22nd that can provide plenty of water, and I believe the sewer. Mr. Kim, do you remember the sewer? Was that going to be private or?
It's on the east side, going north and south. And there's another sewer line going along.
Across the bottom half, correct? Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Would you like to speak?
Sure. You need me?
And I don't know if y'all noticed, but the application said I-2 and A1 to R3. The northwest corner there it's actually industrial. We caught that at the last second and included that in the rezone.
Was that also in the advertisement, in the publication?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any questions for me?
Anybody have any questions?
I have just a general question
Sure.
about the way you have it laid out.
Yep.
So typically the lots here are about 60 feet wide that you've proposed, or about 60 feet wide.
Yeah,
or
60 by
feet
100 on
frontage.
most of them, correct.
In requesting an R3 for that, that
Mhm.
is only going to allow you to put a single-family home on that.
Correct. And
with-
that was my intention originally.
That is your
Yeah, when
intention? Okay.
Daniel was here,
Okay,
we kind of considered doing R3 just because that'd give me enough lots to justify, doing the subdivision there.
okay.
Because our R1 would I think was much bigger than.
8,400.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, the R1 it would have increased your minimum footage. I just wanted to make sure you were aware that
Yes,
in
I
R3
am.
was gonna limit you to only a single-family home on those.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you, appreciate
Thank
it.
you, appreciate it.
Is there anyone who would like to speak for or against? Is there a discussion?
I mean, I have a general hesitation about designing single-family in an R3 zone. Because we typically reserve R3 for multifamily. I mean, it meets our ordinances, so I don't wanna say that it's incorrect by any means. It just, in terms of a general discussion and thinking about the planning of our city, I have hesitation about designing a single-family development within an R3 zone.
I will say, I actually like that part of this. I realize that R3 is a little bit of a high zone for what they actually intend to do with it, but at the same time, this actual plan fits that area really, really well. And I will note, kind of as an additional side, that really helps clear up a problem area for the city that I believe maybe the homeless are currently using as kind of an extra little homeless camp back there. So, I like the fact that this is taking a piece of property that's not currently being used and doing something really productive with it that fits that area.
And I think we're adjacent to quite a bit of R3 in that area
Correct.
too, aren't we?
Yeah, I believe everything to the east on there is R3.
So here would be my next question, because I do agree with you, Whitney, that I like this particular setup for that area. If we approve this as a replat, can we stipulate that it is based on this proposed plat?
I believe that we could put that contingency in there.
And the
since it
reason
is-
I say that is I don't want this to become an R3 and then 2 months from now it's sell and
And
someone
then
try to
go
do
to-
something different.
That,
than
I would
what
be,
we're-
I'd be line if I said that wasn't a fear of mine with this.
Whitney, can you comment on the ability to restrict that?
I think we can make that recommendation, and we can make that part of our recommendation.
I will say I'll make a comment that's not specific to this project, but I share the general concern that Shane made, and that, you know, I would not want to set a precedence for residential, simply pursuing smaller lots by rezoning R3 in general. Whitney, is there any danger in setting precedences of simply rezoning for the simple fact it's smaller lots? I mean, that's the desire here.
No, not really. I mean, I guess there's arguably an issue that somewhere in the future, somebody could come back in and do something that we don't really want or cause issues for us with those smaller lots. But in this case, everybody's put on notice well in advance of what area this is and what can be done with the property. So I think as long as you've got advance notice, it's kind of previously addressed. So our big issue in the city of Durant are these really small non-conforming lots that people have bought that were grandfathered in, and then they go to try to do something with them, and they can't do anything with the lot because it doesn't meet the current code. So I'm less concerned about a future project than I am how do we fix these older issues that we inherited.
I think my
50
concern
years
was
ago.
more about future projects in other locations, that this might not be.
I don't think this provides any kind of rubber stamp to a future project that we're in favor of this as a policy.
Thanks. Is there any other discussion?
I had one more comment. This is probably more towards Paul, but we didn't get that list showing what departments have signed off or what comments they have. I don't need to see it if you say they've all approved
Yeah.
it. And the only reason I bring that up is because in this plat, I don't see any retention areas, detention areas, and that sort of thing. And they may not have gotten that far yet with civil engineering, but it just jumped out at me that there's none of that noted on this plat. And
Yeah, the civil engineering he's gonna work on after the preliminary plat.
okay.
The only question I had was about access points. Is it Bloom Way and Prosper Street are the access points?
Yeah, Prosper there to the east, and then Bloom Way up to the north.
Okay.
Will be your two, means of egress.
Okay, so it meets the code with the safety egress for fire and police, and I just know we've had another property in the city that we're having those
I
discussions
trust me,
about.
I pay real good attention to those egresses, so.
Good, okay.
I think it should be noted in our packets moving forward when it's a preliminary, make sure we mention it's preliminary. And as Shane mentioned, if we could include the sign off from each manager in our packet. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, on the condition that this is at least the general plan of what we're sticking with going forward.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Newsom,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes. These legals on here, it's difficult to follow the agenda. I believe that's. So is there any new business, Paul?
No new business.
Okay. We have a motion. Oh, yes, ma'am.
New business.
Well, so I just want to clarify, because you had 3 abstentions on that abstains from the one vote, 2 yeses, that vote does not pass. You're counted as far as a quorum, but abstaining is neither a yes nor a no. So you would still have to have a quorum to go either way.
My understanding is it still got it to council, is that the case?
It would, yeah, I can still, you can go straight to council from here, but
Yeah, that was the point that we wanted to just take action so we could get to council, so then council could
okay.
make a determination.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, good deal.
yep, thank you.
We're just an advising body, so we send it to council.
Motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Call for motion and a second. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Newsom,
Yes.
Commissioner Horner,
Yes.
Commissioner Kerr,
Yes.
Vice Chair Knight,
Yes.
Chairman Jackson.
Yes, we're adjourned. Thank you.